Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the extended version of today's reading here on Patreon. Thank you so much to all of you who are such powerful and important co-creators here in our virtual shared space on Patreon. That was a little bit of a tongue twister there for a second. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you've been taking care of yourself, especially during the intensity of the full moon. I know that as many of us are highly intuitive, highly energetically sensitive people, we tend to be more affected by these lunations than most. And this is a bit of a side message. I'm not sure who this download is coming through for, but in general, you may have noticed in your life recently or through some kind of event or circumstances that you are very sensitive to certain things energetically in a way that other people may not be as sensitive. And if this is happening to you and it almost feels heightened for you, this may be because in this leg of your soul's ascension process, you've unlocked new spiritual gifts and abilities that are still coming into focus. I might be speaking just to one person here, but if you've noticed that you're even more sensitive to certain things than usual, and this could be anything, it could be sounds, spaces, spirits, energies, really anything, even astrological transits, things of that nature, you might suddenly find yourself feeling very pummeled by certain energies or environments. This is a sign at this moment on your soul's evolution that because of the inner work you've done on yourself, because of how that inner work has released blockages that prevented the natural expansion of your energy, therefore now allowing you to expand. It's almost like you've expanded out of a previous level and unlocked a new one, a new level of reality, so to speak, where you are being granted new spiritual gifts, abilities, or talents. Now, this could show up as creative abilities. So you might not necessarily think of the manifestation of these spiritual gifts and abilities in spiritual quote unquote terms. You might not refer to these things as psychic, spiritual, energetic, etc. This might look like suddenly having an interest in painting or writing or just doing something new that you may not have even realized you had a gift for. Well, it may be that you actually didn't have that gift in the past, but it's come to your attention like, hey, I might want to start doing XYZ because you've unlocked that gift. You've unlocked that next level. And not everyone is being given the kind of access you're being given. Don't underestimate the things, the activities, the abilities that come so naturally to you. There might even be that tendency to overlook them or to downplay them, to think, oh, everyone can probably do that, or because it's so easy for me, it must not be valuable. Know that these things come so easily to you because they are gifts for you, because they are spiritual gifts in a sense that have been granted to you as you've expanded into this new level. And just because they come easily for you doesn't mean they aren't extremely valuable and meant to be shared in a powerful way. And of course, listen to your own intuitive guidance on all of that. I am only here to hopefully assist you in more consciously reconnecting with what your intuition knows, what your intuition has always known. Okay, so I am going to be reshuffling the traditional tarot cards, clearing out all of the previous energies. Of course, if you have any personal intentions for the reading, you can set those intentions now by either thinking them, speaking them aloud to yourself, writing them in the comments, whatever feels right for you. If you don't feel guided to set any specific intentions, that's perfectly all right as well. I am personally setting the intention for everyone listening that you receive whatever you need to receive most at this time, that you receive a message that boosts your sense of clarity and confidence and self-love, and that helps you to take that next step forward on your journey in that soul mission or purpose, whatever that is for you personally. Okay, well, we're starting out in a very interesting direction that I wasn't expecting. With the Eight of Swords, this card can often speak to feeling very stuck, feeling paralyzed by fear, in a state of grief or sadness. Now, of course, based on what we picked up in the first reading, I don't feel this is most likely your energy. This may be someone connected to you who's kind of pushing their way through into this reading. You guys know, who have been here on Patreon for a while, that sometimes when we start recording these readings, someone or some energy that didn't even come in the first reading will kind of butt their way in to the Patreon reading to make themselves known. And that's almost what I'm feeling happening here. This person wants you to know that there's more to the picture than what is happening on the surface, or what you are consciously aware of, even than what they are consciously aware of. I almost feel like it's not this person's physical human self that's butting into this reading. It's actually their soul. It's their higher self. And of course, I sometimes refer to this as the 3D and the 5D self, the more conscious physical human self, and the soul self, the higher perspective. Now, for many of you, those two are merging in the sense that your soul self has become very conscious and very manifested through your conscious mind and your physical interactions and your physical life experience. But for many, including this particular person, there's a huge disconnect between their 5D soul self, so to speak, that has this higher perspective, and their more limited human perspective. So this person's soul wants you to know that even though their human self is in a state of sadness, there's a lot of heavy energy around them, they're feeling paralyzed by their own fear here. They want you to know that at the higher self level, they are aware that there is actually a spiritual transformation taking place within them. We have the Moon card. This is someone who is at the human level peeling back deceptions or peeling back layers of programming, but they don't realize that consciously. This is a very complex message because it's like this person's soul is trying to communicate things to you that they would probably never at this moment tell you in the human world, in the 3D world, because again, there's that huge disconnect between their higher self knowing here and how their 3D self is speaking and behaving. My guides corrected me and said how their 3D self is not speaking, because this feels like someone who may actually just not be communicating with you hardly at all in the physical world. This may even be that masculine that came out at the beginning of the first reading. So what I'm getting from that is some of you may have connected with, resonated with that first masculine. I kind of tried veering away from speaking on it because the energy around it was so heavy. But I feel some of you, a group of you, resonated so deeply with that first energy and wanted to know more about it that you set that in your intentions, consciously or subconsciously, for this Patreon reading. So that even though I didn't specifically say in the first reading that we were going to go deeper into that first energy, because many of you had those intentions, here we are, and this person is coming through here. It's the co-creation is what I'm getting here. So if this message is for you, thank you for setting your intentions and being part of co-creating this reading. But I'm feeling that, this is someone who in their life is having deceptions peeled back, revealed to them. I want to know more about what these deceptions are for this person, which again, I'm just going to refer to them as a masculine because that's how they came up in the first reading. Of course, The labels might be reversed for you. Take them however they are connecting. We have the Hermit card. I'm hearing I had to spend time alone to see the truth. This may be someone who's withdrawn a lot from the people around them. They might have people worried about them, wondering, are you okay? I haven't heard from you in a while. But this is a divine withdrawal that this person is taking part in. They've been guided by a higher place, by their intuition, even if they're not consciously aware that they're being guided. This guidance has led them into a hermit mode. I'm seeing someone like in a tunnel or a cave, metaphorically. I'm hearing that they're spiritually being aged, being matured, light years ahead of where they were before. It's almost like they're taking a quantum leap in their spiritual ascension process, but it's very overwhelming to their human self because they're not consciously aware that that is what is happening here. This is someone doing some very, very deep self-reflection, and some of what they are finding through that self-reflection is very painful for them to process, and it's taking a long time for them to come to terms with it. Now, it's strange because maybe that taking a long time is just how their human self perceives it, because I said they're taking quantum leaps. So yes, spiritually, they're advancing very, very quickly, but at a human level, it might look slow, but that's an illusion here. There's so much element of illusion coming up around this person. Like the way things appear are so different than what is happening beneath the surface for them. So let's find out first, the way things are appearing, and secondly, what's actually happening beneath the surface. Let's just use that as a specific starting point here. So, okay, so what is happening on the surface? Like, how is this person perceiving or being perceived in the conscious 3D world? Again, I'm hearing hermit mode. They're being perceived or feeling very lonely, very isolated. They also might look like or feel as though they've gone through a major loss or a downturn recently with the 10 of Pentacles reversed. Once again, we have the 5 of Cups. This might be showing up emotionally as a lot of sadness, a lot of heavy emotional patterns manifesting themselves consciously, almost as though they're mourning, but they might not be mourning something specific. It's just like their heart is hurting here at a conscious level. They also, with the 8 of Swords reversed, are being pushed by that energy to take control of their own life, to find creative solutions, meaning intuitively guided solutions to some of what their human self has considered to be problems. Again, we're speaking very 3D here. And ultimately, this is going to bring their physical 3D life into greater balance. So even in the 3D physical world, although things are looking very heavy at the moment, although this person might be consciously feeling a lot of sadness, not even really knowing where it's coming from, this is actually going to put them in a state of greater balance, where they're going to be able to juggle the different areas of their life with greater ease. But again, we're speaking 3D because this is how they are perceiving the process. This is what's happening on the surface. But know that what's fueling these changes is actually that spiritual transformation that's happening beneath the surface, that's happening in the 5D, and that is happening very quickly, because I said it's almost like they're being spiritually aged light years in this quantum leap kind of fashion. So I'm going to be reshuffling the cards, and I want to now know what's happening beneath the surface for this person. So we know how it looks, but what's actually happening spiritually? What is their soul aware of that's happening? Okay, their soul is aware that they've been holding on to things that have been restricting them or limiting them, and that's why their soul has shifted them into this hermit mode, so that they can let go of things. I'm hearing things that they thought they were in control of or wanted to be in control of that were actually subconsciously controlling them, but they weren't aware of that at the conscious level. And so these things are being removed from their life to release the restrictions and allow them to bridge the distance with some kind of deep soul connection, like to peel back the layers until they're truly more consciously connecting in with this Lover's card reversed energy. This is the most powerful card for a spiritual partnership, a love union of some kind. And the fact it's reversed tells me spiritually, those things they were holding on to physically are being removed from their life for a spiritual purpose, to allow them to more consciously feel their disconnect from a twin flame or a soulmate, a divine counterpart that they may have even denied wanting to connect with, or they may have even denied feelings for, because it's almost like those things they were holding on to materially or on the surface level that they were trying to control were actually blocking them from the deeper feeling that they needed to feel, that feeling of being disconnected from a divine partnership or divine union. And I know it sounds strange that they needed to feel that pain. They needed to feel that disconnect. But the reason it's necessary is I'm seeing that Rumi Oracle card, divine discontent, that discontent that they're going to feel more consciously of, I am disconnected from who I am meant to be with. It's actually going to push them to realize they've been disconnected from their own soul, and that divine discontent is going to push them to reconnect with their innermost self, which is ultimately going to put them on a path of being able to build and sustain a divine partnership, a divine union as well, whether that's with a twin flame or a high-level soulmate. This could be a twin flame or high-level soulmate of yours that you were disconnected from, and this is, like we said in the first reading, their way of connecting in with that reunion or union timeline that you are already vibrating on. Now, of course, you get to decide whether or not you desire to connect with this individual in that what we traditionally think of as a full-blown manifested physical union. Some of you might choose that. Some of you might opt for a different path or a different connection, and there's no right or wrong in any of that. I'm just sharing what I feel happening on this person's energy. Okay, so I hope those messages reached who needed to hear them. Again, I was not expecting to channel into that specific energy further in this reading, but clearly some of you manifested those messages. So, as I always say, the intentions are so powerful for co-creating these readings. I really do mean that. It's sometimes even wild to me consciously how, as I'll be doing a reading, I can feel many of those co-creative energies driving or steering the reading in certain directions. Okay, so as promised in the first reading, let's dive into that very different energy, that Knight of Pentacles. This was coming up as a masculine energy that had a very warm, gentle presence. Now, for some of you, this could be connecting, as I said in that reading, as a past grandfather, great-grandfather, a father figure even, someone who passed on who you had some kind of warm connection with as a child. This also could be resonating as a physical, incarnated person who is entering or re-entering your life to remind you how worthy you are of receiving love, although you don't need that reminder codependently, but you're receiving that reminder because you've remembered how worthy you are innately from within yourself. For some of you, it might connect in both ways. Maybe you're experiencing both that spirit ancestor dynamic and that person entering your life. But regardless, I am going to be focusing mainly here on the physical aspect of that Knight of Pentacles energy. So the physical masculine for a group of you who is entering or re-entering your life, who is very gentle, very perseverant, very patient. And I just get this warm feeling in my solar plexus whenever I channel into this masculine's energy. It's a very good feeling energy dynamic. And I'm getting that you are feeling that with this person as well. Okay, so let's set a clear intention here for channeling who this Knight of Pentacles physically manifested is in your life. Okay, we have the 8 card from the traditional tarot, the Strength card. This is someone who's here to help you overcome some of your self-doubt or to help you maintain that very strong sense of confidence within yourself. This person might come in to be an unconscious messenger for you as well. So they might say certain things that they don't even consciously realize they are channeling for you. They might tell you, for example, something that they admire about you. And this may have been something that you were wondering about or doubting a little bit within yourself. That's a very specific message for someone. But for others of you, this is just someone who influences you spiritually to stay focused on your mission, on what you came here to do as a soul. And of course, we're going to get into more of that soul mission in this extended reading as well. I just feel that this is someone who really connects with you from that place of strength and self-empowerment. Your throat chakra feels very open around them, meaning it's very easy to speak your truth with them, to be unfiltered with them. With the Lovers card reversed, this may be a twin flame for some of you, or a divine counterpart, because again, the Lovers reversed is a very powerful card for a divine union, a spiritual union, meaning, yes, a physical union, but also one that carries a strong spiritual component to it as well, whether that's a soulmate or a twin flame. But I feel that there's still some kind of disconnect with this person, meaning you might be at a distance initially. There might be certain obstacles. Emotionally, there might be certain obstacles within you. I don't feel that they're on this person's side necessarily. You might still be deciding whether this is a connection you want to fully bring onto your timeline physically. This person is coming up as a King of Cups. So this is someone who's very healing for your soul. I feel like they understand you on such a deep level that, again, there's this sense of being unfiltered with them, that you don't have to really translate yourself or check yourself or worry about coming across the right way, because they understand you on such a deep level. This is also someone who's extremely emotionally balanced, very emotionally mature. They don't shy away from feeling or expressing their emotions. With the Sun card in the upright position, wow, this is the card of an awakened divine masculine. So this masculine carries a very sacred frequency. They are very open. Of course, we are all on a constant path of ascension, awakening, healing, but this is a masculine who is in a very open state of being spiritually, emotionally. They've reached a level of maturity that's really solidified itself in their conscious self, in their physical human self. They're very evolved in a sense as a soul, and it shows up consciously. It shows up physically. We're not just talking about their 5D self. We're talking about how they interact with you in a way that makes you feel safe and supported as the beautiful, divine, feminine being that you are, if that's how you are resonating with those labels here. Okay, can I channel anything else about how this Knight of Pentacles is showing up here? For some of you, this could be someone you're meeting futuristically. Can I get any more information on how this Knight of Pentacles is showing up here? Okay, so with the Queen of Wands reversed and the Chariot, this will only apply to some of you, but if this is someone from your past, this may be a masculine who in the past had a karmic feminine in their life. If you're just meeting this person, they may have gone through this kind of connection already, where they were with someone who was a lower vibrational feminine energy, who may have appeared to be a match for them on the surface level, on a superficial level, but was actually, I'm hearing, either dishonest or overbearing or narcissistic. And they are free and clear of this connection with the Chariot. They've overcome that obstacle. They're very much focused on themselves at this moment in time. I don't sense karmic energies around them physically at the moment. So they come into your life very free and clear of this past connection, again, with that karmic feminine, if that was a factor for you. For some of you, of course, because we channel energies here, this could be the transformed version of that masculine that came out earlier or someone else. So always take that only how it connects with you. Okay, so now I want to channel more about your soul's mission, your soul's purpose at this point in time. The World card, succeeding, achieving, travel. I'm hearing you are seeding light, you are grounding light energy through places that you are visiting or traveling. This doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're traveling very far, but know that you carry a frequency that actually stabilizes the earth frequency in the grid wherever you are on the planet. Whether you remain in the same location or feel guided to move or to travel to different locations, if you are feeling that guidance to travel, know that while it might look on the surface to others like you are just going different places for the fun of it, and of course there is and should be that happy, fun element to it, but know that the reason you're feeling guided to do that actually is because it's part of your soul's mission and purpose. It means that you're feeling drawn to certain geographical locations on the globe to stabilize the grid for the collective consciousness by seeding your light energy in certain places on the planet. You might be the kind of light worker that we refer to specifically as a grid worker. If you'd like more information on that, I can share more in future podcast videos. I used to do more podcast style videos in addition to these readings on the main YouTube channel, and I'm excited to get into doing more of those. So let me know what you'd like to hear about if that resonates for you, or again, if you'd like to hear more about being a grid worker specifically, which is considered to be a type of light worker. I'm just getting that your successes are so important because they're going to inspire others. So again, whereas others might see you or will see you, this might be predictively as someone who's very successful, someone who's accomplished a lot. I see you on that kind of destiny path here. What they might not realize is the deeper spiritual purpose to even those physical successes and accomplishments, which is to expand the collective mind, to allow others to dream bigger dreams for themselves, to inspire others to higher goals, which naturally will help them to expand their own energy out of their current perception of lack or limitation, which ultimately contributes to the expansion of the collective mind, the collective energy as well. You are, with the feminine card here as well, very much in your goddess-like feminine energy. I'm hearing that you may have even made certain alterations to your physical appearance recently. You may have done things to make yourself externally feel more aligned with how your soul wants to manifest itself physically. Maybe this even looks like adding certain feminine touches to your living environment or to your physical appearance, or doing or just adding certain things to your, again, environment or appearance that cause you to feel more in alignment physically with who you are as a soul. Trust where you're feeling guided, especially when it comes to anything related to slight changes, for example, in your appearance or your living space, because I feel that this is deeply connected to manifestations and physical supports for maintaining this feminine vibrancy, this kind of feminine energy around you. And when I talk about the feminine energy, I'm talking about the sacred feminine, meaning something deep to your core that radiates outward, this effortlessness, this beauty in, of course, your unique way of defining beauty, this radiance, this magnetism. So I'm not speaking to anything specific that's superficial, material, appearance-based, or surface level. Although again, that core feminine energy, that sacred feminine energy might naturally inspire you in certain directions on that superficial surface material level, of course, because we are spirit here incarnated to have this beautiful human experience that feels in alignment with our soul. And with the blessings card, of course, this is a beautiful omen for blessings coming into your life, you being in this position to receive massive blessings in your life at the moment. I just keep seeing like this pinpoint on a grid. This could be the geographical earth grid, like you being perfectly placed where you need to be at this moment, but you could take this more metaphorically as well. This could be you being placed socially in the right environment, or career-wise in the right space, maybe mentally in the right headspace. Just you've been so perfectly positioned at this moment to receive huge blessings into your life. And there is the sense of those blessings beginning to show up in movement physically and things that manifest physically, as we got that word movement as a major theme in that first reading on YouTube. Wow, beautiful messages coming through the reading today. I am just feeling this sense of wholeness, this sense of completion about the reading. I am going to go ahead and pull the final Rumi Oracle card to close the Patreon reading. Thank you so much again for tuning in today. And here we have the courage of your love. And I'm going to read from the guidebook here. So the guidebook says, love is without reason. Rationality is like a cane. Judgment needs a cane because it is blind. When love arrives, thought dies in its shadow. Love is the sunrise, while thought is only a flashing light. Rumi. And the guidebook also says, this is the heart that shines with courageous love. It is willing to feel and bear all suffering without judgment, whilst gently holding the truth of what suffering really is, the drying out of the mind addicted to suffering. This drying out is necessary so that love can ignite itself and transform dead wood into living fire. The path of freeing the heart from the effects of a fearful mind is an initiation into great power. So many lapses will happen before the heart grows strong enough to overpower old patterns and surrender without condition or equivocation. When it is ready to surrender in such a way, the heart is free and allowed to simply be. You are an ancient one with a heart older than the mountains. Your ancient heart loves the soul and will roar like the lion of love at the wolves that would casually devour it. So trust in the courage of your heart. You are passion personified. You are the lion of love. Stand true in your own heart. So, wow, what a beautiful place to close off the reading. Thank you so much again for being present here and being part of our Patreon community. I hope you're doing really well. I would love to hear how you're doing in the comments under the Patreon video. Otherwise, I'm sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy as always, and I will connect with you here again in Wednesday's Patreon reading.